Welcome back everybody to Hayes Tech and ROM Reviews. My name is Dave Hayes and this is the channel where we talk about pretty much anything tech. Now if you've been watching any of my videos, you'll know that I purchased a Canon 90D to start doing my YouTube channel videos on, and I got it because I could shoot in 4K and there was no crop, and it's just an awesome camera. The issue is the camera comes with just a run-of-the-mill kit lens. It's an 18 to 55 millimeter kit lens. Now these lenses are actually pretty good. Now I really wanted to get something besides the kit lens that comes with the 90D, and I was thinking vlogging in mind and close-ups along with wide-angle shots, and I decided to go with this. This is a Canon EFS 10 to 22 millimeter lens. And when we come back, I'm going to tell you guys what I think about this lens. Before we go any further though, I do want to make one disclaimer. I'm not a photographer and I am not a videographer. I do YouTube videos. That is about as far as my knowledge of cameras go. But I'm going to give you my thoughts on this lens as just a newbie, alright? So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this video.
And as always, remember to like, share, and subscribe. You hit that notification icon to get a notification of my videos as soon as they're released. That way you don't miss any of them.
Okay, well, what I was looking for was a lens that would give me a little bit easier, vlogging, give me a little bit of wider view, and just, make my 90D a little bit better to vlog with. As it goes right now, the only lens that I have to use as like my vlogging lens is my 18 to 55 millimeter lens, and it does a good job. The problem is it starts at like f4.5, and that's pretty high, or a pretty small aperture. I wanted something that opened up, a little bit more than f4.5. So after doing a lot of research, I was looking at either the Canon 10 to 18 millimeter or this Canon 10 to 22 millimeter. And I got the 10 to 22 millimeter because it gives me a little bit more options than the 10 to 18. With being able to zoom in to 22 millimeters as opposed to 18, it does give me more of a cropped in look when I'm trying to vlog. And again, guys, I am not a professional videographer or photographer, so you're going to get the information about this lens from somebody who is new to this, and I'm going to be talking in plain jargon that everybody understands. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw it on my 90D, and we're going to run the 90D as my main camera, and we'll move the M50 over to my secondary camera. But I'm going to use this lens so you guys can see what it looks like. But before I put it on there, what I want to do is quickly just go over some of the things that are listed on the lens itself, so you know. Again, it is a Canon zoom lens. It is a EFS 10 to 22 millimeter, and the aperture range is from 3.5 to 4.5, so there's not a lot of aperture, distance built into the lens. Now you can cheat with that with some of the settings inside the camera by changing your aperture in the camera settings. You can change a lot of that, but as far as the lens itself goes, it is only set up for its minimum at 3.5, which is kind of dark, and maximum at 4.5. Now again, this is a zoom lens, so it does go from 10 to 22 millimeters, and it has no stabilization on it. It just has the Canon autofocus, which you can shut off at any time. One of the nice features I like about this is even when I have autofocus turned on, this lens allows you to manually dial in your focus without shutting off the autofocus on the camera. Now the other lens that compares to this, which is Canon's EFS 10 to 18, does not allow you to do that. You have to turn it to manual focus on the camera before you can actually turn the focus ring. So what do you say we take this lens, throw it on my 90D, and use it as my primary or secondary lens, and and let you guys see what this looks like. Okay, well, I moved my Canon M50 over here on this slide, and over here is my Canon 90D, and I have the lens on it right now. And the first thing I want to say about this lens is, wow, it is freaking monstrous. It does have a 77mm objective, or I shouldn't say objective, it is the outer lens, because this lens actually has like a lens built in a lens. The lens is about that long, about 3.5 inches, 3 3/4 inches long, and whenever you do your zoom, everything takes place inside the lens. So again, you have a lens inside the main objective that you can see moving in and out. So that means with this having a 77mm, outer diameter, I guess I would call it the outer lens or glass, you're going to need a 77mm filter, which I did order. Now, I did purchase the lens from eBay, and I purchased a filter on eBay as well. The filter is one of those adjustable filters, and the place that I purchased it from was QI Camera. They sell a lot of things on eBay at very, very affordable prices. Now, they were asking about $29. I offered them $20 for it. And it's not used. It is a new filter, but they did have the option to make an offer. I asked them if they'd take $20 for it, and I did promise them that I would mention them on the first video I made about the filter. And since I'm going to be talking about the filter with this lens, I did want to say that it is QI Camera. And again, they sell a lot of things that have to do with photography, videography, camera, filters, stuff like that. So I highly recommend that you check them out, and I will try to put a link in the video description below if you guys are interested in purchasing anything from them. Now, back to this lens. As you can see, if we look at my M50, now of course you got to remember, I've got a hell of a crop on my M50 because I'm shooting in 4K, and when you shoot 4K, you get a big crop. On top of that huge 4K crop, you also have the 1.6 times crop that you get with Canon APS-C type sensors. So I'm getting a massive crop on this camera. Now I'm running with my 50mm lens, and I've got it about 6 feet away from me right now, to give you an idea. Now back to this one. This is running on my Canon 90D, and I can touch the lens. I don't want to smudge it, but I am like a 1/4 inch away from the lens right now. So that gives you an idea of the differences between this lens and the 50mm. Of course, you have to count in all that crop stuff. Now, I do want to say again, I can't make this clear enough, that I am not a photographer. I am not a professional videographer. I make YouTube videos, and I've made a lot of YouTube videos, but I am still learning the cameras. Okay, so you all know that I actually like shooting with a good quality video camera, but I like SLRs and DSLRs because of the interchangeability with the lenses. It gives me a lot of options. Now I'm going to try to use this camera and this lens for most of this, so you all can get a good feel for the view. Now right now I have it zoomed in to 22mm. If I go back to 10mm, it would look like this. You're probably going to be able to see the ring in it. I grabbed the focus. There's the zoom. Now I'm going to go out. Okay, so now that is the 10mm objective, or the 10mm. And notice you can see my ring light. Now I'm telling you, this camera, I can touch the lens. That's how close it is, and that's how wide of shot you get. I'm going to put this back at 22 here real quick. What would you use a lens like this for? Well, if you're into photography, you could use this lens for landscape shots. All kinds of, I could imagine all kinds of shots. Say you wanted to shoot an object that normally when you shoot at it with your 18 to whatever you're shooting with, you just can't quite get it in unless you step way back, alright? This lens changes that for you. This lens allows you to take a picture of something without having to step way back away from it. At a cost though. and that is you get a little bending and warping around the edges at 10 millimeters. Now, when you zoom it out to 22, or when you zoom it into 22 millimeters, you lose a lot of that warping on the edges. I wanted this lens to be about this size, but I also wanted that 10 millimeter if I ever wanted it. So, you know, it is what it is. And remember, guys, again, I am not a professional at this, but I did have some things written down I wanted to talk about or go over. Some good points to this lens and some not so good points. And then what I'm going to do is take it outside and take some video, take some pictures, let you guys see what it looks like, and give you a novice person's thoughts on this lens. Okay, that's about as good as I can put it. Cost of this lens brand new is around $550 US. Now I got this used for $220, and it's almost in new condition. This is an EFS style lens, but does not have image stabilization built into it. But it does have autofocus. It's got the autofocus switch on. This is an older Canon lens. I will tell you that. It does have a 77 millimeter objective on it, which means if you want to put a filter on it, you need to get 77 millimeter filters for it. Again, we're shooting on an APS-C size sensor, so it's going to give this 10 millimeter a 1.62 times crop, which means that it's equivalent more to like a 16 to 35 millimeter is about what it's equivalent, which I think is a really good lens to shoot on a camera, especially for vlogging and stuff like that. It does have a metal mount. It's a very heavy lens in my opinion, but it does come with a metal mount, and it's very tight. The focus ring is really smooth in its throw. It does have a very fast autofocus on it. I mean, I'm focused here. I mean, I can see the square in my eye. It is following me everywhere. Of course, the Canon 90D is an outstanding camera for this. So, I mean, you add this lens and the Canon 90D, it's a nice combination. Now, again, this is a USM focus motor. It does have with a manual focus override. And again, what that means is, if I want to reach up with the camera in autofocus and manually focus it, I can do that. Now, I cannot do that with the 10 to 18 millimeter, and it's a newer lens, but it just does not give me that option. This does give me that option. This lens does not have stabilization in it, and that is one of the downsides. And I already mentioned that this does have better build quality than the 10 to 18. One of the things that I want to bring up, all of the reviews that I've watched on YouTube say it has a soft outside edge to it, and I guess it does. I'm not really concerned with that. I'm not a photographer, and even though I do take pictures with it, I am more concerned with the video quality, and to me, I think it looks good. Yes, it is a little soft on the edges, but I really don't notice that much. One of the things I did want to bring up, and this was the reason I purchased this over the 10 to 18, is it does drop to 3.5 millimeters in the f range, and the 10 to 18 is like its lowest is at 4. It's not where I'd love it to be. I'd like it to be at, you know, down in the 1.5 to 1.9 range, 2.5 at the maximum. But 3.5 is still way better than 4 or larger. It will give me some blurred background, but as you guys can see, if I get in real close, the background blurs a little bit, but you know, you're not going to get that really creamy, bokeh is whatever they call it, with this lens. But that's not why I purchased this lens. If you want something like that, get yourself a 32 millimeter prime lens or a 24 millimeter prime, f2 or lower. That way you'll get that really nice blurred background if that's what you're looking for. They advertise this as having a 22 centimeter focal length, meaning I need to be 22 centimeters away from the camera in order for it to focus properly. Well, I've noticed that I can be very, very close to this camera. Now, I did some B-roll in my last review I did, and the camera was, I thought I was going to hit the product that I was doing B-roll of. That's how close I was with this lens and the product that I was videoing. And it was as crystal clear as possible. I could have went a little closer, as a matter of fact. When I hit that focus ring, it actually focused in even closer. So I could have actually touched the object I was videoing with this lens. That's how close you can get. So macro, it might not be, macro photography or macro video, but you can get very, very close to the subject that you're videoing. What do you say we go outside and take some video samples of it? I'll take some pictures. We'll throw it in here. Maybe I'll throw some music in the background. I'll let you guys see what this lens looks like, from a day-to-day basis. Okay, we are outside right now, and I'm giving you guys a sample of what it looks like outside. Now, there are some weird things about this lens, and I did order a filter for it, and I'm gonna need that filter because right now I have it stopped down to f3.5, but the way this lens is so open that even at my ISO at 100, it's bright, and what I really need to get a filter on it to darken it up a little bit. With all the snow reflecting everything, even with the cloudy sky, it just doesn't look good to me. Now, if it would be a cloudy sky with no snow on the ground, I think it would probably be okay. But again, I do recommend that you get an ND filter for your camera. Again, I ordered it. It just didn't make it. I wish it would have, because I'm not doing this lens justice by not having an ND filter on it. When I do get the ND filter, I'll probably try to do some videos to show you guys what that looks like. I'll make a real short YouTube video clip, upload it, and I will put the link to that video clip in this video here. But I wanted to show you what it looked like if you were going to use it as a vlogging camera. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and zoom in to the 22, and that's going to change things a lot. So now I am at 22 millimeters, my focal length, and this would be more of what you would expect for a vlogging type situation. And you notice it doesn't bend the background as much as it did like when I was at 10 millimeter. I'll go back out to 10, and if you notice, there is let me see if I can find a pole here behind me, right here. Notice that pole behind me right there. That pole is very, very straight, but yet it has a slight warp at the top of it, like this at the top. You're going to get that with these type lenses, really, really wide lenses. At their fullest width, you're going to get some bending. It's just the way it is. So for me, if I was to use this lens for like vlogging, I would be zooming into the 22 range, or the 22 millimeter range of this lens. Again, this is what you can expect. The image stabilization on it is none, except for what's built into the body of the camera. So my Canon 90D has some image stabilization built into it, but usually it works good when it works with the lens. And since there is no image stabilization in this lens, the only stabilization that's actually working right now is what's built into the camera. To me, it doesn't matter because it's such a wide lens, you don't see a lot of shake in that. And I think it does very good for a vlogging rig, especially if you have it zoomed in or zoomed out, depending on who you are and how you say it, to the 22 millimeter focal length as opposed to the 10. Now, where the 10 comes in nice is if you're doing, say, landscape photography, or just any kind of photography where you want to get a lot of subjects into the picture frame. Then the 10 millimeter really comes in. What I'm going to do now is I want to take some pictures, let you guys see what the picture quality looks like in this, and then we'll go ahead and shoot back to the video. I don't want to make this a really long video, so what do you say we go ahead and take some pictures? Alright, well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I tried to keep it short and sweet. I didn't want to go too in-depth on the lens because, again, I am not a professional. And I don't know all there is to know about lenses or cameras and stuff like that. But I am learning. But with that being said, I really, really like this lens. I think I did good by purchasing it. I can see all kinds of scenarios where I will be using this lens. One is for the situation that we're doing right now, and that is vlogging or, making my YouTube videos. Now, will I use it on all my videos? No, obviously not. I can see where this lens would probably not be the best option, but I will be using it a lot. I will say that if you're going to purchase the lens brand new, I would try to hold off and see if you could get it used. Get it used in good condition, and you can pick them up for, $220, maybe $250 at the max. I think that at that price, this lens is well worth it. But I think it may be, at its full price, its full retail price, brand new, I don't think I'd pay that much money for this lens. I want something like a 28 to 150. That's what I'm kind of looking for. Or a 24 millimeter with a 1.9, anyways, that's it. I'm getting way too deep on this. I'm starting to lose you guys. If you are looking for a good lens to use on your APS-C sized Canon camera, I can highly recommend this. If you are looking for something that is going to take a big, wide picture, this is the one to get. I recommend this one over the 10 to 18 just because it will zoom into the 22 millimeter as opposed to being stopped at 18 on the other one. And this one's a little more expensive than the 10 to 18, but again, you're getting a better quality lens, in my opinion. I appreciate you guys watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're new to the channel and you liked what you're watching, think about subscribing. And don't forget to hit that notification bell icon. That way you get notified of my videos as soon as I release them. I will be putting out a ton of videos now. That's all I have. I want to thank you all for watching, and I will see you on the next one.